if you're with us, we've got another Flashback Friday, and it's going to be Christmas in April. Life's a holiday sweater show. We all need that.
You know what? Why not? From pajamas to holiday sweaters.
That's it.
Why
I like
not?
it.
Exactly. All right, let's get to it. She's the star and executive producer of the FX drama, Mrs. America. Please welcome the great Cate Blanchett.
Hello.
Hi, Kate.
How are you?
How are you? You know what?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You look fabulous. This is exactly how I pictured you. I pictured you at home in my mind's eye in front of a wall full of beautiful books. Oh, and a tea kettle. Yes.
Anything else I can get for you?
No, you're perfect.
So how is it going? How has it been in isolation? And who are you with?
Well, I'm by myself for the first time all day. So thank you. No, because my 4 kids are home, so we're trying to homeschool. I'm sure I feel blessed that we're safe and well and we're able to be here. My mum, who lives with us, we've got 3 generations in the house normally. She's back in Australia waiting for her visa, so we're up, unfortunately, but we're all healthy, touch wood.
Yeah, it's a shame too to be separated. I know what that's like. It's it's so great to have your children with you, but when you're thinking about your parents, it's like you can't help but have like this gnawing thought,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's she's 80, she's incredibly fit, but she's in that zone, where, and we just we're staying home for them. We're not staying home for us. I mean, my little ones probably wouldn't even scratch the surface.
Kate.
It looks like there's no shortage of creativity there, though. There's a nice painting. There's some artwork behind you that looks like it was recently created.
I have been crafting up the wazoo over here. I mean, I've been doing fairy gardens. I've been doing art. We've kind of, any ideas are welcome because I'm running out of ideas.
Oh my gosh. I fortunately am so lucky that my kids are old enough that they want to have nothing to do with us. We attempted to play chess, but we failed miserably. But I understand that you're learning Spanish on Rosetta Stone, something that I've been doing for the last at least 8 years.
Well, hola, el corre. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm at like lesson number 2. But I thought I may as well. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do. And, I keep saying, the problem is that I'm here in the UK and half of my family's in Australia, and then LA wakes up. So you end up working 24/7. So my Spanish lessons tend to happen at 3 a.m. and 3:30 in the morning. So I'm not remembering very much. I don't know how you're going.
Terrible. I can't get out of chapter 1. I am the worst. And it's been years. And my husband speaks Spanish and he can't help me either. So I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. Yeah. I've got
some people we've been talking to and some of our friends have been playing the game who do wish they'd be in quarantine with. Has that crossed your mind yet?
Oh, well, I seriously wish there was a high school teacher quarantined with us right now. But, I think I'd have to say, only because the show has just kind of premiered. I really wish I was with all of my cast mates from Mrs. America. I mean, what an amazing bunch of women and men. John Slattery and Miss Marsden. We're so lucky. So there was such a ball to work with them all. I do miss them, particularly at this moment in time.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Mrs. America, which is a 9-part limited series, of course. It's the story of the feminist movement and, of course, the backlash, the unending backlash that it sparked. Tell us a little about how you got involved.
Yeah, it's also about the drive to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. And I, for one, I'm an American citizen, even though I don't sound like I'm one. I thought equality was enshrined in the Constitution, but of course it's not, even though Virginia recently became the 38th state to ratify. So it's about the second wave feminism, but it's also about the equal opposite women's movement, which was the movement of traditional women and homemakers who felt marginalized by the feminist movement and threatened by the notion of equality. And for me, that was the point of wanting to play Phyllis Schlafly, who at face value seems so opposite to me, even though she was a mother of 6, I'm a mother before here, working from home as she worked from home. There was so much in common. And I wanted to know what was so terrifying for her about the notion of equality.
Was it a lot of extra pressure? I mean, you're playing women from our mother's generation. Did you speak to your mom about it?
Yeah, my mom, when I was growing up, I identified as a feminist in the backlash. Women, feminists when I grew up, were men-hating, anti-family. And I thought, well, all feminism means to me is equality. Yet my mother, who had come out of that era, even though she was a single working parent, didn't identify necessarily as a feminist. So, of course, she would now. So it's kind of been it was a really interesting conversation to have with her, and particularly also because I grew up with my grandmother. So, there's so many different feelings about what a woman's role was, which is fascinating to me. I mean, and then also I got to have the hair. So,
yeah.
But and
sure
the cast is, the cast is just incredibly strong as well. So many powerful actors and actresses.
I know, we were so lucky. I think it's men and women flock to the subject matter. I mean, there's no point going back in history unless you're revealing something about the present. And I think we were all wanting to understand the losses and gains and the missteps and the successes of both sides of that women's movement, but also why women have been so divided from one another. Because I think what the series really points to in a non-judgmental way is that the women they have so much in common, even though the rhetoric is different. They're wanting to protect certain things and enshrine certain things and also change and move certain things. So they've got more in common, I think, than perhaps they realized at that particular point in time.
Mm.
Well, congratulations on the debut, the premiere. Sorry you're not with your friends and your casting crew, but it is Mrs. America, streaming us on FX on Hulu right now. It's such a pleasure to see you safe and healthy. Thanks so much for coming on, Cate.
Stay well. Thanks for having me.